Today, we're going to be taking a look at what's turning out to be one of the hottest watches of the year, the rather remarkable Citizen Tsuyosa. This series delivers on two of the most hyped trends in watches right now, integrated bracelets and popping dial colours, both of which come together at an incredibly affordable price. So, as always, I'll be running through everything this watch has to offer, from its history and price to its design and functionality. Then, at the end of this video, I'll be giving you my overall verdict. If that sounds good to you and you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and join our awesome community, and then sit back, relax, and we'll jump right in. Now, as I'm sure you're all aware, Citizen have been doing their thing for some time now. In fact, very nearly a century. Originally founded in Japan in the 1930s, they've long been a go-to for those who wish for an affordable yet rock-solid timepiece. They offer an absolute plethora of land, sea and air suitable models, all of which cater to the desires of professionals and watch enthusiasts alike. And this watch is certainly no exception. Introducing the Tsuyosa. Now, these are new, but not exactly new. This series, in fact, first hit the shelves in Japan back in 2022. However, it wasn't until May and June of this year that they received a wider release, finally becoming available in the US and right here in the UK. We see 5 colour variants in this series. First off, we have the black, which is clean but rather formal compared to its counterparts. We then add a touch of colour in the navy blue and forest green variants. Then things get a whole lot brighter, with a Tiffany style blue, which was always going to be popular, but my pick of the bunch was this incredibly radiant yellow, officially known as the, wait for it, NJ0150-81Z, or just yellow for short. Now then, price. These watches have a retail price of just £299 or $450, which on looks alone make this already rather astonishing. This is very much a premium looking timepiece, and one that makes a rather evident nod to a kind of combination between the Rolex Oyster Perpetual and the Oyster Cores, but to be honest, I'm not mad at that. Of course, it's taking inspiration from rather monumental timepieces in the luxury watch market, however, doesn't take itself too seriously at the same time. If it was sat in the region of 1 to 3k for example, you might think, what are you playing at? But it's even a fraction of that. A fraction of a fraction for a timepiece that looks like this certainly makes you pay attention. So, then you might think, okay, well that's all fine, but how well is it built? And what are the specs? Let's get into it, shall we? The Tsuyosa, which in Japanese translates to strength by the way, features a durable stainless steel case and boasts a combination of brushed and polished finishes, with the contrast between the two being most noticeable on its fixed round and raised bezel. Its push-pull crown sits seamlessly at the offset 4 o'clock position, which can be wound in place to give it some power, pulled out to its first position to change the date, and then its second and final position to set the time. This recessed style of crown certainly adds to a clean aesthetic and ensures you won't easily knock it out of place, however, does make for tricky operation at times. So there's not much chance of changing anything while it's on your wrist. Flipping this watch around, you'll have the opportunity to stare right into the Tsuyosa's automatic Miyota 8210 movement, thanks to its very welcome exhibition screw-down case back. Having the ability to see just how these things tick is one of the beauties of watch collecting, so always pleasing to see. This movement beats at 21,600 vibrations per hour or 3 Hz, has 21 joules and a strong power reserve for its price point at 40 hours. The Tsuyosa also offers a water resistance of 5 bar or 50 meters, which is pretty decent. And while only half of the 100 meters we might see on other similar models, I for one won't be diving that deep to ever notice, and if I was, I'd probably opt for an actual dive watch. So this is fine. Now then, the main event, its dial. Protected by its, again, very durable sapphire crystal glass is its yellow sunray or sunburst dial, emulating the summer sun. Shall I say sun anymore? Can I do that? This looks unreal. I know it's cliche, but the way this captures the light seriously pops. I called it radiant earlier, and that's exactly what it is, almost flicking between a yellow and orange as you move your wrist in the light. And sat proudly upon this captivating dial are its raised indices, which remind you once again of its OP inspiration. Along with the minute and hour hands, all of these have lume applied to ensure no trouble with legibility and low lighting, which, in fairness, Citizen always seem to smash out the park. We see their brand name etched at 12 o'clock with the word automatic at 6, of course, boasting its movement method. At 3 o'clock, we have a Cyclops to magnify its date window, again adding to its great legibility and ease of use on quick glance. And all of this up top transitions effortlessly thanks to its integrated bracelet, which boasts a very presidential style with its 3 rounded polished and brushed links. This is then locked in by its stamped steel folding clasp with the additional benefit of micro adjustments to ensure a nice and snug fit. In terms of dimensions, this watch has a lug-to-lug length of 45mm, a diameter of 40mm, a thickness of 11.7, and as it arrives weighs 138 grams, but when sized for my wrist and removing 4 links, takes this down to 128. While the clasp might be an example of the watch, shall we say, reflecting its affordability, there's no denying that this timepiece is incredibly comfortable on the wrist, and while wearing this out and about, it certainly feels sturdy and has no chance of going anywhere. Now, a rather obvious comparison you're likely already making would be the highly coveted TISSOT PRX, another 40mm 70 inspired integrated sports timepiece that offers serious bang for its buck. However, it's not as straightforward as it might seem to pick between the two, as you've got quartz and automatic options on the Swiss side. For instance, price. If you've got a say $500 budget, right away you're then comparing this automatic Tsuyosa with the quartz version of the PRX, which sits just under $400, while the automatic version of the PRX sits around $650 to $700. I've reviewed the mint green iteration of the quartz PRX on the channel and was incredibly impressed, as was essentially every other watch enthusiast out there. And while on looks and price it's a good comparison to the Tsuyosa, you might argue that comparing an automatic with a quartz isn't exactly a direct or fair comparison, and that's because it isn't. So we move on to the automatic version, the Powermatic 80, which in fairness does have the Tsuyosa beat with its 21,600 vibrations per hour, 23 joules and 80-hour power reserve. But of course, you're paying more for it. As I've alluded to, on looks, both PRXs are essentially the same and feature a perhaps more refined dial than the Tsuyosa with slimmer indices, as well as the bracelet offering a more seamless transition and potentially more premium look. However, as mentioned, the Tsuyosa benefits from micro adjustments, unlike the PRX, with a more classic style of bracelet, and those indices being more visible on the Citizen will also be preferred by many. So, as with every watch ever made, it really just comes down to what you like. To be honest, they all offer ridiculous value for money, each punching way above their weight in all areas. I feel like sometimes we just need to enjoy having all of them available to us. So yeah, comparisons aside and bringing things back, this Citizen Tsuyosa is a truly unique and compelling timepiece, offering a classic and luxurious aesthetic, impressive movement along with durable construction, all for sub $500 is pretty unheard of. When affordable watches are done right, they strike that balance between being greatly appreciated by the veteran enthusiast as well as a fantastic option for new ones just getting into this crazy watch world. Yes, it's rather obvious about its inspiration, and I'm sure for some this will be difficult to look past, but it's worth remembering that almost every watch out there is inspired by another in some way, even your favourites. And this looks like Citizen's way of joining in the fun of offering something not too far in terms of aesthetics, but astonishingly far less in terms of price. I've been wearing this solidly for a few weeks now and have to say it's been a pleasure. It's taken the office, the gym and the beach all in its stride and truly been a joy to wear. This is one I'd definitely recommend as a daily wearer, but also a great option to put on just for special occasions. I'm excited to see where they go with these, and it looks like new dials are already right round the corner. All in all, if you're looking for your next timepiece, the Tsuyosa is a very Tsuyoe choice. That was terrible, I'm sorry. It's very good.